Hello, my fellow Canadians. Since my entry into the Canada's Next Great Prime Minister competition, I've been hearing some questions on the internet and at school about people wanting me to elaborate some more on my plans. I have to admit, I wasn't overly that clear in the first video. Time restrictions kind of hindered my ability to explain in detail my plans. So I want to take this opportunity, one of many, to go over some of my plans. Let's go to a clip of a question.
Kyle, can you elaborate on your plan to better Canada's healthcare?
That's definitely something I want to go into more detail to. Let me tell you about a thing that happened to me just recently. My grandfather, who has big medical issues, had to go into the hospital a couple days ago. Once in there, I had to wait in the emergency room. In that emergency room, I found it was packed, full. No more people could be in there. They were turning people away at the hospital because there was no more room for people in the emergency room. They couldn't see anymore. Now let me tell you about these people that were in there, what I noticed. Most of them, cold symptoms, flu symptoms, or there to have prescriptions filled out that a family doctor can do. These people should be being seen by family doctors instead of hospital doctors, whose time is much more better spent on working with people whose lives are in danger or have life-threatening injuries. Why do these people not have family doctors? Well, right now 15% of Canada doesn't have access to a family doctor. That's a little over 5 million Canadians don't have access to a family doctor to do the things I mentioned before for them, or even just for a checkup. So we need to start to tackle that issue. One of the big problems there is that there are not enough doctors coming into the family sector from university. Part of that is because a lot of our medical schools do not accept the maximum number of applicants that the school can hold. Why that is can't overly be explained, except we do know it is not from marks. I've talked to several different universities and they have told me that their cutoff over the last year was 90%. So they were turning down students into their medical program who had a 90% average because they said they didn't have any more room, when in fact studies show they do have room for more students. And then another thing that happens, once these students get into medical school, 1 in 10 of them will drop out of medical school after their first year. And mainly that's because tuition fees are high. Tuition to get into most medical schools, in particular, are high in Ontario, but they are high all over the country. It averages right around $14,000 just for the tuition. That doesn't include housing, meal plans, anything like that. So in the end, it ends up being a lot higher. A lot of families can't afford that much money going into school. When you think of how long you'll be in medical school, that's a lot of money leaving. And these people, when they come out as doctors, they're in severe debt. And it'll take a long time to get them back fully on their feet. The family doctor crisis is known too. Currently, in a late study, they have shown that Canada has 2.2 doctors per 1,000 people, which is ranked 28th in the world. For a G8 nation, that's not really acceptable in my mind. We should be up a lot higher than that. So what do I want to do about this? We have to tackle this full on. Why universities aren't accepting their maximum number of students, I want to find out what that is. I want to sit down with the universities. I want to find out what's wrong. If they need more funding, we'll see what we can do on that. I know why students are dropping out, and that is because of tuition after the first year. That can be a big strain on family, and it will put them in debt in the long run. So I want to put a plan in place that will help relieve some of that funding issues for them. I want to pay half of their first year tuition and half of their last year tuition. That will help relieve some of the strain that's put on them, and it's something we can do for them. Next, I want to really find out why doctors aren't going into the family area. I was quoted before in saying that I wanted to force people into the family doctor sector. That was a complete miswording on my part, and I have to completely say that that is wrong. I could never do that. I did say it, but that could never be done. In Canada, you can't force people to do anything they don't want to do. That's wrong. That's not what we are meant to do. That's not what we're founded on. What I want to do is put incentives in place to kind of encourage people to go into the family doctor sector. Because by going into the family doctor sector, we're taking strains off our hospitals, which then fixes the problem of waiting times and frees up hospital doctors to deal with the problems they need to be dealing with. So that's my medical plan, somewhat summed up. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact me. There will be other information videos coming in the future on my other policies, on the economic area, on foreign affairs, on political, on native affairs, and on U.S.-Canada relations and the war in Afghanistan. So hopefully I've answered some of your questions. If you have any others, feel free to get a hold of me. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And vote Kyle Parish for Canada's next great Prime Minister.